Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast!
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Welcome to A Corporate Tom with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live on Twitch and YouTube. We'd ask you to join us as well. Just search for @TomandDanLive. That's our handle on all social media. And check out our YouTube page. Tons of great content, including Swervy Jones cartoons.
Jeff and Zachary are here from the Orlando Science Center. How you guys doing?
Hello. Thank you for having us.
That's Zachary's first blast. Your first blast. How's it feel, Zach?
I'm excited.
Can I call you Zach? That's your first blast.
Yeah.
That's your first blast, man.
So I can't wait to talk the universe with Zachary.
Yep.
And but let's talk ASTRO-FEST happening this weekend.
Yes, happening this weekend. A really good time. And before we get into that, I need to say I was watching you guys' show recently, and you had little Rose on, the pinball princess. And she was all about coming to the Science Center. I gotta give a shout out to Rose and thank her for her support. And the next time you see her, we got a little something for her. So we got her a little Izzy the Sloth from Life.
All right.
So the next time you see Rose, let her know we appreciate her repping us.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's always nice when you get a child to come in and organically yell.
I was like, yes. I was like, God. I was like, Jeff will never hear this.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was a very big deal for us. We shared that video around the Science Center. We all got a big kick out of it.
She's like freaking adorable, man. And she was all about, I don't want to talk about her pinball cleaning work ethic, but I do want to say that she did seem to be
more interested
way
in the
more
Science
interested in the
Center.
science. And I don't think a lot of polishing happened because they were out the door pretty fast.
Then we got a youth volunteer in the making. Then I think,
that's really cool.
So we would Rose, join us at ASTRO-FEST if you're listening.
There you go.
But it's this weekend, the 19th and 20th. It is a celebration of space and space travel. We are going to have some great guest speakers from NASA on Saturday and Sunday, talking about launch systems on Saturday and Artemis missions to the moon on Sunday. We've got Rocket Lab, where you can learn about launching rockets.
Yeah.
We've got space simulators. We've got some really awesome movies playing on the giant screen.
One of them,
special guests.
Eyes Wide Shut.
I
don't know. It's like the last
We're not
movie.
paying that.
It's literally the last movie.
We had Rose so good. You ruined it.
I was on a roll.
You ruined it all.
And Jeff
We
takes
had
the
Rose
sloth.
and
He takes the sloth. He takes it back.
Yes.
I'm taking my sloth back.
Yeah, there it was like, don't know how to respond to that.
I'm sorry.
Jeff off.
I was on a roll.
And he's done nothing to me. He's such a sweet man.
I was on a roll. But yeah,
some of the
definitely a good time to come this weekend. And it's all included with admission.
Yeah, and it is one of the, you guys are always rolling out special events. Almost, I mean, I would dare I say almost at least once a month.
Yeah, once a month.
Sure.
At least once a month.
Yeah. Obviously, become a member. It's the best time, especially in the summer where it's rainy, it's hot. Go to the Science Center with your kids.
Maximum AC.
They'll learn something. They'll have fun all day. You can go for weeks and never experience the same things. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a ton to do.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk ASTRO-FEST. Zachary. So I figured out what's wrong with the universe. Here it is. It's the marketing. All right. So
Sure.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, they're doing a lot of new marketing. You know, there was the big Netflix deal.
Yeah.
Like recently, where now we're going to get all our NASA stuff on Netflix. So I think just having it the places people go is a big deal, right?
Yes, and but what I mean is I'm too dumb to understand what's going on in the universe now.
Well, you love it. You're addicted to it.
I do love it, but I'm having a problem comprehending it.
Okay.
And like in 1950s universe, it was like, hey, let's go out there and put our flag in the moon.
Oh, brutal, brutal space. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the marketing is a great way to think about it because it took 60 years between humans just being able to fly to then get to the moon. And that was because of people's buy-in. When we were caring about space travel and everything like that, we were able to punch it through. We were able to get people onto the moon 60 years after we were able to just fly in general. And so like those are those amazing things of like that marketing we need to get people invested in buy-in.
Yes.
I like the way you put that. Yeah. It was just 60 years prior.
It was 60 years.
So, for instance, I looked up a couple stories about the universe. You know, I type in universe news.
Hey, that's what I was doing over here.
Yeah.
You know, we were like a modern day when Harry met Sally. I was over here Googling universe news. He was doing the same. Only a wall between us.
And so I'll tell Zachary about some of the news that I saw, and then I start reading, and I'm like, oh, this is super interesting. And then it gets to a point where I'm like, can't comprehend it. So I'll talk about the recently
the dum-dum threshold.
Observed some colossal structures in the universe, bigger than we ever thought existed. And I guess, with the new telescope and, every time, I guess they put new software that helps it, see things we haven't seen before. And they found this colossal structure that's 1.9 billion light years wide.
Yeah.
Right? So you're
Massive.
like, oh, wow, I understand billion. That's big.
Yeah.
But then I saw another story about basically a satellite that we threw out there 49 years ago.
Oh, is this the one that came back to life?
Maybe it was, but it was a probe that we sent out into the universe 49 years ago, and it was talking about how far. Obviously it's still in our solar system.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's been traveling for 49 years at this speed, like faster than a speeding bullet, and it hasn't traveled one light day. You're like,
Yeah.
what?
Right,
Yeah.
And then so then I'm like, okay, well then 1.3 billion light years
is how many light days? I see where you're going. This is one of the first times I've ever understood it.
So I understood 49
Yeah.
years, and then I'm like, I only understand time based on my puny human existence.
Exactly.
Your insect level intelligence.
And then I'm like, it's not even, my brain can't even comprehend a light year and what that even means, much less 1.2 billion light years and how big that even actually is.
Yeah, so if you want to bring it down to like our monkey human brain understanding of time, the easiest way to go is the distance between the Earth and the sun. It's very far. It's like several 100 million miles. It takes 8 minutes for light to travel between. So you can say that we're 8 light minutes away from the sun. So then you get into a light year. How many minutes are in a year, in a day, in a week? And then you get into like you're talking about billions
your sun
of years.
comparison. That gives it a starting point.
It's like, okay, well, that's the closest star. That's one astronomical unit. That's how we measure our solar system. The distance between the Earth and the sun is one astronomical unit. We can say Mars is like 1.3, Jupiter's like 3.3, and on and on.
Yeah.
But that's 8 minutes. So if the sun disappeared, let's say it blinked out of existence, we wouldn't know for 8 minutes. It would take 8 minutes for the sun's light to travel to Earth and still hit us. We wouldn't be thrown out of its orbit yet. The gravity hasn't even blinked out of existence yet. The gravity waves are still reaching our planet. So we would still be orbiting around a sun that isn't there anymore for 8 minutes until finally it blinked out of existence for us. So the sun that you look up at,
that'll be the wildest 8 minutes I've had.
yeah, yeah,
right. Like that would be literally
the
wildest 8 minutes.
Like NASA, they would not know that it happened because the information would not have reached us yet.
It hasn't reached us
There is
yet.
no cosmic way to understand.
And then what would happen?
Oh, we would just float off and freeze into
But what
outer
would that
space.
feel like? Instant freezing?
Yeah, it would probably get really cold really quickly. It would be dark instantly because there wouldn't even be
And freezing,
moonlight.
they say, is lovely, right? That's the most lovely way to die.
Yeah, I think it would probably turn out really good for the rest of humanity.
Yeah, there you go. All right. You heard it here first, folks.
The crawdads on like the bottom of the ocean would be fine, and that's about it.
Yeah. Everything else?
People are going crazy.
It would not be good.
It's crazy.
Another story I saw, Zach, is a story about they figured out that this thing called the firewall paradox. I don't know if you've heard of it. Like
I hope you made this up.
no, I saw this
right.
idea. So essentially, this has to do with black holes, which is another story I'll tell you about. Like two black holes combining. But the scientists used to believe, or I guess still do. There's all a lot of theory. Is that the event horizon, the area around the black hole? They used to think it was like a smooth, like if you got into the event horizon, you'd just be pulled into a black hole. But the event horizon wouldn't really do anything to you. It would just pull you towards the black hole.
Yeah, it's just a point of no return.
And then the firewall paradox is they believe now there's more evidence to suggest that there is some sort of essential firewall, all right, in the event horizon that will incinerate everything something that
Passes through it? Okay.
and then I'm still following, by the way. I'm still like, okay, firewall, I know what that is. A wall of fire, then you pass or you burn. Okay,
I got distracted with the computer firewall for a split second, but then I changed it and now I'm back.
So then I'm like, okay, I'm still following here. It's still good marketing because I'm excited.
Where did they lose you?
Here's where they lost me. They're like, it'll even burn light and information. And I'm like, hold on.
Well, that's the weapon you need. The information laser.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't comprehend the burning of light or the incineration of light and information. What is information?
That is such a death metal lyric if I've ever heard one. The burning of light.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, isn't information only what my brain is perceiving? It's not really a tangible thing that the firewall can burn.
It is energy, though, right?
No, is this just letters or email?
It's just just burning
Jeff
binary code.
Jeff, you're on board. We knew Jeff fitted here when we saw his fun shirt. We're like, this is a Tom and Dan guy.
I came to play.
Thank you, Jeff, for being on brand.
Burning paper, I can understand, but it's just light.
I'd assume the information they're talking about is going to get like the building blocks are like atoms, molecules, and things like that. Well, the things that build atoms and molecules are like quarks, and we can get into like string theory. And so like even those specific quarks that make up protons and hadrons and neutrons and electrons, like even that is going to be destroyed. Like it is fundamentally ripping apart the strings of reality. That's the information they're talking about.
There's your song That's a song lyric.
That is so metal. Yeah. Like this is all like where Dave Mustaine and all these guys go to get their lyrics.
So Zachary, you talk about this space in the universe all the time. Do you find that this is a problem, like I'm describing, for normal people to comprehend something as far as like something ripping apart the basic framework of anything that exists?
Again, like our observable universe is this macro scale that we can see and perceive. I can see a couch, I can see a microphone, but you can't necessarily see the tiny little Lego bricks that are building it, right? We can see that when you build a Lego set, but you can't see it in reality. We can't see cells, atoms, molecules, things like that. And so it's so hard to conceive in our brains what that really is. And then we learn about that and we can understand that leaving high school. But then you go out into the world and people who study this, they learn about the building blocks that build those building blocks and like Legos made out of Legos. And it's just so fundamentally expanding macro and macro, tinier and tinier. And then you can get to like Ant-Man Quantumania and you can get to the quantum universe and things can get so crazy down there. So it's just so fascinating to see like every layer has a layer under it, has a layer under it. And those firewalls are going to destroy every single layer.
Yeah, ChatGPT adds, if firewalls exist, which it's a theory, I guess, even the photons crossing the event horizon would be annihilated. So it's just a disruption of all matter.
Yeah. But like understanding light as a photon is also confusing to us because
it's not the way we think of it.
No.
It's like the photon can only move the speed of light. There's no, it's like,
well, I'll give you guys a real world example of something that's kind of happening now that ties exactly into what you're talking about. We don't really think of light as being something tangible that we can grab. There is a reggae band called Slightly Stupid, and there's a video that's been going around on TikTok where the lead singer, I think, he walks out in the crowd and they have this giant laser show going on. And he has a left-handed cigarette. And he walks up to the laser and he lights his cigarette off of the laser. And it starts burning and he starts puffing it out. Also, to go along with this, on Monday, I was in here yelling and screaming. You come around the corner, you're like, what are you yelling and screaming about? I'm like, they've invented a mosquito laser that uses AI technology. It's a little box that looks like this camera I'm looking into, and it'll scan your yard. And every time it sees a low and slow moving insect, which is a mosquito, it has to be like a mosquito type of something that flies. They give you like a time limit. It has to move at a certain speed, but it'll just laser all the mosquitoes out of the sky. It's called the Golden Dome or something. They're making fun of but it's called like the Black Dome or something, and you can buy it. So, like, lasers are having a moment. Like, we are having a tangible moment with lasers where the laser, the light of being a something that we cannot touch, those days are over. I want big, fat, touchable light.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's like a lot of dance crews out there that will use their laser lights. And I think of, like, the Jabberwockies with, like, the NBA Finals. They'll play with their lasers and stuff like that. Even at the Science Center, we use lasers to, like, pop balloons. You can get a certain colored laser. And if it's bright enough, it'll pop through certain colors of balloons with the different wavelengths of the light and how they travel.
That's cool.
There's crazy stuff you can do with lasers.
Yeah, lasers are awesome. They're having a moment right now.
So, Zachary, is there anything in the universe that you had a tough time comprehending when you first, just started learning about the universe?
Yeah, I think when we talk about the universe, I think black holes constantly will capture the imagination of almost anyone as you think about it.
Yeah.
And then there's the idea of white holes, where it's like the other side of it, and the wormhole, and it's actually a bridge that folds space and time on top of itself, and in space and time are tangible things that are out there as well. I can measure time and I can manipulate time. That's such a weird thing because we're here on Earth and we're at our constant speed and we're at time on how it flows for us as humans and how we move through the universe. But if something is traveling faster, it experiences time slower, and you can send
Zachary?
two twins. There's so much crazy stuff.
I've never heard the term white hole before.
Have you never heard of a white
and
hole?
I'm going to have to excuse
Oh,
myself.
this is incredible.
It's impossible for me to sit here and
I-
not make jokes about the white hole.
I can't wait to tell you about a white hole. Okay, so black hole
I'm gonna explode.
consumes all information. It burns it. It will erase it from the universe. And theoretically, there could be something called the white hole. It was originally thought about when Stephen Hawking was working on his original black hole thesis.
He likes a little white
And
hole.
these white holes would just spew out that same information. If information or matter can't be created or destroyed, it is being transported through space and time somewhere else in the universe, and it's almost like a bridge between the two. And so white holes are constantly emitting light, and they're constantly shooting out that information in intense forms of radiation as well.
So that's another thing that
Never
bothers
heard
me
that.
is that black holes don't operate under the rules of physics as we know it,
Yeah.
and that's been a mystery for scientists to try to figure out why, or even if they do in a certain way that we don't understand.
And that adds to that theory of the firewall that
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. That's exactly what ChatGPT was saying.
Because, like you said, if energy can't be created or destroyed, then it has to go somewhere.
Yeah, theoretically.
Yeah,
Right? We haven't observed a white hole ever. We haven't been able to find one or anything like that. It would be pretty difficult to discover because it would just look like a bright white star. And so, but the math works out that these things could exist as Isaac Newton is figuring out how planets and stars move throughout the universe, and then Einstein comes in and adds in relativity, and we're able to get closer and closer to that finite detail of figuring out. And then even Stephen Hawking's contributions, it all is able to get a little closer to the right answer, whatever that answer is. And scientists today are going to go even deeper and figure that out.
I almost feel like you hit it. It's almost like they're going to be stars that we thought were stars,
Yeah.
but we're further away, and were categorized as stars, but they weren't stars. They were white holes.
Yeah, possibly.
And, I don't know. That happens
but
sometimes.
they might not even exist in our time. It
Right.
could be that that's something that was fundamental in the beginning of the universe, or only at the exact end of time when the universe might collapse in on itself will these objects even appear and transmit that information.
Or they happen what would be considered for them regularly, but we are so insignificantly small that our level of time means that their level of frequency is a nothing.
So,
Because we're a blip.
Exactly.
Boy, that's when you put it like that, it kind of sucks. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, we're not even going to see one.
But it's so cool that we're at the time, and even our brief human history, that we can start to understand this. Think
Sure.
about even 400 years ago, 500 years ago, there was no world where we could have even predicted that these things exist. We're so lucky to live in this time in science where we are able to start understanding what's happening out there and start seeing the bigger picture that we are a part of, and
Yeah.
appreciate that we are just this small blip.
Dig it, man.
So, Zach, this leads me to another supercomputing and AI and artificial intelligence. I've read some stories about people claiming that AI will advance us in physics because it's so much smarter than we are, and then we're close to. They were predicting by in the next 10 years we will learn new physics from AI. And so, back when Einstein was born, and people were like, "This guy's smart." And they used to be waiting until some anomaly human was born and can tell us all how it worked, and then do the math behind it. And then now it seems like that the artificial intelligence and technology will always surpass humanity at this point. There won't be a human born that's smarter than artificial intelligence, and because it's impossible.
Right.
And then there will be a point where we'll have to trust AI and what it's telling and the math behind it. Right? It's like AI is like, hey, this is the truth. This is the new physics. to the point where it's our new god. What do you think?
That's the Rogan thing. That's
just,
what he's been saying about like born unto no mother. You know, like
you just
like
have faith in
coming
it.
of Jesus.
Yeah, like the Terminator AI.
Yeah.
I've seen all those theories, and we dabble a little bit with AI. We do a lot of like generative AI, like art and stuff like that.
Sure.
I think the thing to remember is like these AI models are still trained by humans, so they can only gain the information that we can give it, and it can extrapolate from there. But there's two kinds of AI. There's a narrow AI model that like is focused on a specific task, whether it's generating an image or figuring out how to get you from point A to point B, like a GPS AI. But to have a wide range AI, a truly artificial intelligence, is still pretty far out of our human grasp. Like Amazon pretty recently tried to have like an AI house assistant that can be like a Roomba and clean, but also go get you water and like help feed your pets and stuff like that. And they created this little robot, and it was powered by AI, and pretty quickly it was tripping over the stairs and breaking itself and not able to complete more than just a few basic household chores. So like I think we're still pretty far away from that, but those all theoretically could happen. But this is all still just information that we are training it on. It's able to extrapolate creativity, but it's based on the images and pictures and ideas that we've given it and trained it on.
That's why a lot of musicians hate it right now for like Suno and some of the programs that I use and mess around with. They hate it because you can almost hear the patterns of music in it.
Yeah.
Like it literally is just taking and training. It's predicting where a song will go based on the songs that we've written. That's it.
Until the singularity happens.
Right. And I don't even fully understand that.
And then it's like, trust me, this is the reality. And you're just like, well, it's smarter than me. I just have faith.
But see, even then you test it, right?
Yeah, you have to test it. Like right now we're at the point where like it's a great tool and it can help you do your job maybe more efficiently and everything like that. But it's still a tool. A calculator is a math machine that can tell us the answers a lot faster than writing it down on a chalkboard.
I need to say something to everyone out there that emails me that I talk to via email.
Okay.
If you use a lot of emojis in your email, I know you're using AI. And if you use a long dash.
Yeah, the M dash.
If you lose, is that what it's called?
It's M dash.
Yeah, the M dash. Thank you. This is a smart man. He knows what it's called. I call it a longer dash. If you use the M dash, Hillbilly Daniel calls it a longer dash. I know you're using AI. I know you are. Yeah. So what you should do is go in there and wherever you have a longer dash, delete it and put a tiny dash, and then I'll be like,
you gotta edit it out. It always ends its emails with best too.
Yeah,
like, that's a really good one. I feel like everyone goes to the classic thank you, or like if you have any questions or anything. You know, like that.
I've always done all the best.
An easier tell for my emails is if everything's spelled right. That's all.
You know, you can.
If it's spelled right, I didn't write it.
Now they have this thing that I saw where you can go in and it's a program that will ask you to, like someone like you, it'll give you like a paragraph and it'll show it to you. And then it'll say like, now from what you recognize that paragraph, type it really fast or type it in your normal cadence. Just give me the mistakes and all. Yeah. And it'll take the mistakes that you make over a certain period of time, and then it will cleverly reproduce your same mistakes in an email so you can now fake misspell emails to people and they'll think it's you.
And that's a lot of effort to go into just not write an email. Right? like the more effort you put into it and you train your model, but that's a lot of front loading of work as well.
This is why the robots crush our skulls.
Yeah. I mean, they're training to misspell.
We're so lazy that we will put in so much work to not do any more work. Such a funny
you guys, I'm crushing your skull because you're so stupid. So Zach, what? Let's talk about like things in the universe besides like the time relativity is something that's proven that's still fascinating. I try to tell my sons I'm like they've proved it by flying an atomic clock around the globe and it was milliseconds off. Proving that the faster it goes, the slower time goes.
There was a story about putting clocks on the moon today, and I didn't get a chance to read it before you guys got here, but I think it has something to do with that, like where they're testing time.
And then the closer you get to something like a black hole or something that's super dense, the slower your time goes relative to people, I guess, the human time on Earth.
Earth time,
and therefore enabling you to essentially travel into the future Like they proved because of this that future time travel can exist.
I mean, yeah, it's literally Interstellar, right? Like that crew gets so close to a black hole that he ends up returning back to Earth, or not even Earth, but like where Earth humans went through the regular time dilated, and his daughter was all of a sudden 104 years old, right? And that's like such a gravity defying thing, but it's so interesting. There's like a twin paradox where if we were able to build an engine that can travel half the speed of light, and we sent one twin on that rocket ship, and we had another twin here on Earth, and they traveled 50 years out and 50 years back, that twin would only have aged 50 years relative to their twin here on Earth, and maybe not even be there for their funeral. Like, it's really interesting to think about like the amount of time dilation that happens as you approach those light speeds. But even microscopically here on Earth, if someone is sitting in a chair and another person runs past them, those two individuals have represented time slightly differently. Milliseconds that all average out in the end, but someone running 5 miles per hour down the road is slightly slower in time than that person stationary here on Earth.
If I were president, I would go back to when we used to use real twins in real experiments. And I would send one to the moon or whatever, and then leave one here.
It would be so, like, even like the moon travel is so microscopic, but like if we got true like close to light speed engines or anything like that, like the people in Star Wars, they would be so messed up with the amount of time dilation that they would experience as they go into like warp drive and everything like that. They would go to a planet, and that planet would have aged 10 years, and the conflict would have been way over by then.
I like that you're ruining their dumb movies.
So sorry, Star Wars fans. I know you worry so much about the scientific accuracy, but technically.
Yeah, when I watch Star Wars, I'm really thinking, what's the real science here?
Yeah, I want more science fact in my science fiction. That's definitely what I'm looking for.
You're preaching Tom's language, man. He'll get in there and start watching Dune. One thing will happen. He's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
They ruined it.
The problem is it ruins the entertainment of the movie.
They can just say space magic.
Too much
It's fine.
way less entertainment.
Yeah,
Galaxy
it's like,
far,
why
far
can't we
away.
travel there? Because my daughter will be 104 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem I have with Interstellar is you float around the bookcase, pushing the
For sure.
and they're just like, you lost me at the bookcase.
Space magic takes over eventually.
and then all of a sudden you get shot back out in space. You're floating there, and then the spaceship is. You know how big space is?
That's like really good.
Like asteroid fields. I don't know, made me think of this, but in the movies, you see Star Wars, and they're trying to go in and out of asteroid fields, and they're dodging rocks.
So stupid.
They don't try. They do.
They do. Only the most experienced pilot in the universe can get through this.
But
try not.
Those rocks are so far away.
Yeah.
You could easily dodge there. I mean,
you would have to be the worst pilot in the galaxy to crash in an asteroid field. And the asteroid fields that they're showing in these movies are so illogical. The mass would collect them together, and they would form a planetoid.
Zachary, you're becoming my favorite guest. I mean, you're just dunking on these nerd movies.
I'm sorry.
It makes me so happy.
I love these movies too. They're great in entertainment value, but they don't go to a sci-fi movie for science accuracy. You have to go to a museum for that.
Thank you, man. And that's why you got to go to the fest.
You got to go to the ASTRO-FEST.
Yeah, ASTRO-FEST it up, man.
I also think that because of clickbait, my algorithm knows I like science. So I'm inundated with Facebook science stories that are just clickbait. Like they all of a sudden it'll show some sort of planet, and it'll like, hey, mysterious radio waves coming at a consistent time, pace or whatever, are emanating off of this area in space. And
that was that satellite. It was static electricity. It was just bouncing off a planet, and it was bouncing off an old satellite. And then it tricked them into thinking that the satellite had come back to life. It didn't.
And so over time, and it's been a while, I've realized I've come to grips with, if anything really exciting happens, I'll know, because I won't get it.
Breaking news.
I won't get it from some sort of random Facebook ad that you want to get clicked on. It's like if some a group of Earth scientists all are convinced some anomalies happen, they can't explain.
We got an alien here.
It'll be a global news that'll be inundated by, people will be scared, even if we found like some DNA or some sort of version of life on any other planet, some moon of Jupiter, that that will be so huge
It'd be a big deal.
that it would like blow people's minds. There would be arguments over it. I worried that people would probably think it was fake news.
Yeah,
because
it would take a while. It would take like 2 weeks for them to finally believe it. I guess I'm hearing it enough. It must be true at this point. But no, I mean, it goes back to the original argument of like the marketing of the universe and how we are communicating the science content. It's like, yeah, it takes clickbait to try to educate people to get even interested in it. And
But then you need people-
but then you underdeliver sometimes.
Then you need people trust.
Yeah.
So I would throw you guys in there,
Yeah.
Jeff and Zachary. I would throw Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, 100%.
I would put Dwayne the Rock Johnson
Definitely
in there. We need a couple ladies, but you know what I mean? Like, you'd have to get them to vouch for the announcement of the life form that was found.
I think if Shaq told us that there was an alien, I'd believe Shaq.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I think most people like Shaq.
Yeah.
He's like kind of the buck stops with Shaq.
So let's end with asteroids because it's
Ties into ASTRO-FEST perfectly.
yeah. So in Sweden recently, I was at this lake. I forgot the name of it, but
Probably couldn't pronounce it anyway.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, they
Yeah.
have
Well,
really,
and there were Swedish fish in there.
Thank
you. I'm back.
I love it, Jeff. Thank you.
and
Somebody's got to make some jokes around here.
and over time they realized the lake and the whole chain of lakes was formed by an asteroid impact.
Oh, wow.
And they explained how scientists figured it out, and it was like they found like essentially molten glass because of where the asteroid hit, and they realized like, oh, this is from an asteroid impact, and all this lake system was created by one asteroid impact, X amount of millions of years ago, and that's essentially how they realized where the impact zone was for the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. Sure. It was a layer of melted glass because the asteroid hits with such power, it burns rock
Of
into
course.
glass.
Yeah.
And then recently, I know within the past couple of years, they sent a probe satellite over to an asteroid and like was able to go touch down on it because like they're trying to practice what if we need to move an asteroid out of the way.
Sure.
Like
Oh,
Like an Armageddon situation.
yeah, Armageddon.
Yeah.
And then science
And Bruce Willis can't do it now.
Yeah.
which is
He's in bad shape.
It's kind of sad that it wasn't a bigger deal in the news and humanity that they were able to send a satellite to touch an asteroid.
Didn't we
like we
touch on this, Jeff?
And we may have.
I think so. Yeah, because
think
it happened.
we-
It happened
yeah,
years ago.
That is a pretty incredible thing that we
Yeah.
were able to do. Like, we were able to dig up earth materials, rocks, metal, melt it down into a little machine that we exploded into space to connect to a different tiny little rock in space that we were able to see with glass through a telescope. Like, that's all so weird to think about.
Yeah, no, it's
And
crazy.
And it all lined up. It's wild.
And then you think like, oh wow, like because we know that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs and there's been big asteroid impacts and that's dangerous. Like you think we'd be more scared of them, and you would put more money into things like defense against asteroids. But
I
then
mean, we have a mosquito defense system for Christ's sake that'll
Just get
shoot.
a
and they're just
asteroid
tiny.
laser.
Yeah, it'll shoot them out of the sky.
And then I'm like, why aren't we doing more of that? You'd think that would be more of a concern. And then I think it must
Space Force.
It must be because just like the asteroid, field, everything's so far away. The likelihood of an asteroid hitting Earth is so slim that no one wants to put money into.
Yeah,
it.
well, it's gonna happen, right? It's just
Well,
like we're
it
banking
did-
that it's not gonna happen while we're all
there's
here.
things hitting our atmosphere all the time. It's just something that's big enough that won't burn up into it as
Right.
well. It's like the asteroid that hit the dinosaurs. It wasn't like it was just the first asteroid that ever hit. It was the biggest one that had hit, and it was finally able to get through the atmosphere, deal with all that friction, and make a significant impact.
Yeah, and the one that when it hit Russia or like exploded over Russia, luckily it was over a forest, but it was like that's another thing that we weren't more concerned about. Like when it happened, we saw all the Russian dash cams. They're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it exploded with the force of 10 atom bombs over this forest.
I
that
gotta go to
leveled it.
work. See you later.
And you're like, whoa, that's crazy. Oh, my
A
keep
few broken
scrolling.
windows, keep going.
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And that was a small one. And then like you realize like they will explode. They won't like impact. They'll just explode in the atmosphere, and that's even worse. And like anyway, I don't know why I started talking about that.
Like, they have to be big enough. They have to hit at the right angle. They have to have
Yes.
the right velocity. All of the thing has to line up perfectly, and it's how we have to escape our atmosphere as well. When we're sending rockets, you have to send it at the right angle with the right velocity, escape the gravity, deal with the friction. So like for it to randomly happen just with the chaos of outer space is pretty slim odds.
Yeah, and that's probably is just like it'll never, even though it has a lot of
and now the technology is advanced enough, we can track the objects that are big enough in outer space that are in our neighborhood to know their paths and where they're going to go. So we can like pretty well predict at this point. Dinosaurs didn't have computers; they couldn't figure it out. They're
even if they did, I feel like their typing.
The T-Rex's hands wouldn't work. They're just going to keep piercing the keyboard.
Yeah.
We say like the and I assume that we do have tracking systems and there's like a global communication between them. They're looking out to make sure.
I always think of Randy Marsh from South Park. He's looking at the seismic computer.
But
making sure we're safe.
But we never see them. I'm like like you interview.
You
like,
don't hear about that.
You don't. Is never seen.
I would love to talk to somebody who measures like
who tracks asteroids around,
or anybody that keeps us safe from like natural disasters is pretty cool. I mean, we've done,
meteorologists and stuff.
Well, they're not as cool.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the news ruined that, Zachary.
Not as cool.
I'm like, this guy doesn't.
I'll only vouch for one, and I saw him on Facebook last night, and that is country music singer weatherman Jim Van Fleet. I saw him last night on Facebook, and he looks good. Have you seen him? He looks
I haven't
great.
seen him in a while.
It still looks great. He's got the perfect hair, Western shirt, tight jeans, ready to rip it up on the stage.
So in ASTRO-FEST, give us an idea of like, my sons, we've been talking about the universe for a long time, and like I try to tell them about what I know about the universe, and they are only interested at night because they get to stay up later. But I still force feed them as much as I know, and they'd be interested
to see how much they remember. It could be like the Spanish immersion program.
Yeah, the better percentage.
Like what if there's nothing? What if they're just like not even listening to you?
Oh, I know they're not.
Give them a little quiz.
But what can they learn at ASTRO-FEST?
Yeah, they're going to learn a lot about how we explore space and how humans are able to both go out into space and explore it, and how we're able to collect information here on Earth. So we have NASA coming out. They're going to do different like stage programs where they're going to learn a little bit about the launch systems, the recent missions with Artemis that are going to be happening pretty soon. So that's going to be really exciting shows that are going to happen. We're going to have so many community partners that are in the field out there. So bringing in the experts, also bringing our pizzazz that we like to bring out, the informal education, where we're going to have explosion shows and we're going to do all of our crazy wacky stuff.
And you got some crafting going on.
Oh yeah, right? We have we have a cosmic lab. Everything's like dark black light lab. We're going to be doing lots of like spooky gooey space experiments. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's ruin some more movies real quick. And
space movies only, or
space movies.
I want to give a congrats to India for their first astronaut in 41 years. That guy touched down yesterday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was on the Peloton and I watched him splash down.
No, really?
Yeah. And you know what I like they do? When they leave him in there and they make the doctor get in there and check him in the capsule, I like that. It builds the drama.
Yeah.
It builds the drama. If they just
suspense.
walked out, it wouldn't be as special, but I like that. We got to check them. What if they're, this guy's an alien?
Yeah.
Right? What if he's got a space blob on him?
A lot of that is marketing and stuff. Like even with Bezos, and they're like, why is he running around something? Like everybody's suspicious about like.
Oh, his door had caved in. I saw that. But that's not real.
So like they're all trying to make it exciting, so it makes news. Because marketing is money, and it's like that's why there's so many conspiracies about the moon landing.
I did get excited.
They try to mix in marketing to make it look better, and then they're like, "This is fake." We're like, "Yeah, it was, but we still did that. We were just trying to make marketing."
And
better.
The spacesuits look cooler. They do. The spacesuits do look cooler. They look like motorcycle suits.
So in For All Mankind, the TV series, I don't know if you're familiar with it. There was an episode where they were on the moon, and they needed to get around a particular from one shelter to another, and the guy didn't have a spacesuit, so he used essentially a makeshift mask and duct tape to tape all his hands and so his blood doesn't come out of his body. I don't know how that works. And then he's like, if I could expel all the oxygen out of my lungs, and I can run from here to I got 15 seconds to get from one door to the other, and then I'll survive.
And is he wearing what is it? Did he just duct tape gloves onto his hands?
Yes, he just duct taped. He duct taped every
just his extremities.
Then essentially covered all his skin. And then, obviously you can't have any sort of oxygen because it'll be pulled from your body, in the vacuum of the moon, or is almost vacuum. So and I'm sure someone was like, it's a show, whatever. But like essentially,
but I want to run.
Is there any truth in any of that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So there's more gas in our body than just the oxygen in our lungs. There's gas in our stomach and in our intestines and everything like that. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and the gas doesn't it's not like it takes 15 seconds for it to expand when it's in less pressure. It expands instantly. So that person would instantly turn into a person balloon and
That's why they just pop.
Not make it to the next door.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So no, that was a little bit of Hollywood.
But
Nah.
duct tape.
Duct tape is really good. If he wrapped his entire body in duct tape and made like a duct tape mummy, so that way he was squeezed with the atomic pressure of Earth, the 14 pounds per square inch at sea level, where the atmosphere is crushing us and we like it.
Even then, it would just shred the
It
duct
would,
tape, right?
yeah. So
Okay, I think that's
he
what
would,
they
he would
were-
have to be wrapped up tight enough, and the duct tape would have to be sturdy enough to
And
withstand the
that's
pressure.
an impossibility.
Yeah.
that's I think what they were trying to say. You know, the science man. They're like, if you wrap with enough pressure, there's
Yeah,
a whole.
I
they're
don't
going.
like
they're
that.
going for like decompression sickness, like divers. If they come up too fast, they can get the bends, and the gas in their blood will start to boil and everything like that. But even divers who come up too fast, they're not going to have a good time. They're going to be very, very sick. But that's very different versus the lack of pressure.
Right.
Crushing
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
You remind me of something like they say that like space is not as dangerous as people think. If you compare it to the ocean, let's say, like we all know, and there's
I've heard of the ocean.
the Titan sub implosion
Sure.
and stuff, and like in space you're just dealing with a vacuum, so the
Yeah.
pressures are not as immense.
Yeah, I wonder if
obviously.
they're like, I mean, is it finite pressure up there? Does
I mean, it
change?
goes from 14 pounds of square inch to essentially 0 pounds per square inch, right? So it's 14 times less if you want to think about it like
Gotcha.
that. But
Yeah.
when you're going under the ocean, you're having thousands and thousands of pounds per square inch on your body. So it will very quickly have a much different reaction.
Yeah, like catastrophic failure is an instant implosion, explosion. I don't know. There's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
go!
yeah.
And then in space, you could have leaks, and you could hold your hand against it. Like
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Interesting.
It's
I didn't know that.
The
That's-
force is not going to rip your spaceship apart or your vessel apart,
Sure.
because it's just the vacuum.
Yeah,
force,
like
you
the
know?
difference between space to like sea level air pressure is maybe about an additional 30 feet down on the ocean. The additional 30 feet of ocean will double the amount of pressure on you.
Yeah.
So when you're hundreds of feet down or thousands of feet down under the ocean, water is heavy, it will crush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by the way, that Netflix Titan
I started that,
documentary,
by the way. It's rough.
it's scarier than the HBO version. And then when you see they're like they're in there, it's like king, king. they're hearing this giant, like the fibers from the carbon fiber hole.
Yeah,
like,
where they were
pop,
shredding. Yeah.
and then they're all in there like, oh yeah, so that's weird. I'm like,
What's that? Oh, that's
I'm like,
nothing.
Why? How is someone not like freaking
It's
out
like
when
me
you
on
hear
your
that?
boat and I hear it smoking or something. Like, what is that? And you're like, it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
but this is loud. You're under the water. If like just a split millisecond,
Yeah.
you're going to be killed. Any second is crazy. Anyway.
Have you guys watched that?
That's why we do ASTRO-FEST. We don't do Ocean Fest.
Yeah, you know what? I'm-
Space
yeah.
travel's cooler and safer.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, just stay shallow. You're good.
Yeah,
You're not
I'll
that
just go
bad.
snorkeling.
Hey, appreciate you guys coming in and talking to
Well,
us today.
we
Very nice to
appreciate
meet
the
you,
time.
Zachary.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, man.
And again, ASTRO-FEST is this weekend, July 19th and 20th. Go by the Science Center. Just become a member. That way you can swing by whenever you want. And in the summer, there's still a good amount of summer left. There's still some summer camp
There are
openings.
still a handful
yeah.
of summer camps left for all different kind of ages. Go to the website, osc.org. You can find the summer camp listing on the education tab. But yeah, there's still a handful of camps left. We've got room in the Four Roots Farm camp.
Nice.
That the last session that starts July 28th. Taking place down at the Four Roots Farm campus down there in the packing district.
That's awesome.
Really cool collaboration. That's still available for kids in 3rd to 5th grade. So a few camps left. We're open 7 days a week until the kids go back to school. A great spot when it's hot out or it's raining. We are a wonderful indoor location. 4 floors of exhibits, films, live experiences, and cool people like Zachary to talk science with.
It's a great place to start your day. Like the
Oh,
way
yeah.
that we would do it, the Dennis family, is because we were members. You just go, you start your day there, and then right around like maybe a late lunch, and you're centrally located to a bunch of great spots around Orlando if you wanted to, hit a restaurant
Right there, right off Mills.
or even an adult libation. You can do so. It's the location you guys have is awesome. Plenty of parking, easy garage there right across the street.
Yeah, great location.
And just go to ASTRO-FEST and then just make that your reason to sign up to be a member. That's the easy thing.
Absolutely, and like our friend Rose, even if you only got like an hour before karate,
I forgot about that. She had to go to work.
The
Karate Kid,
check out some
all.
exhibits and then get to karate class.
There you go.
That's osc.org, and we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live on Twitch and YouTube. Come hang out and watch us. Chat with all the people in the chat room, and check out our YouTube channel. Just search for @TomandDanLive. Tons of great videos on there, including our good friend Swervy Jones, who has been animating every afternoon. He's laying it all on the line, much like you are in our fantasy football league.
Okay,
he's putting it all out there. Yeah, he's working really, really hard. So go check that out. YouTube @TomandDanLive.
So what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I wanted to, these type of stories that when they come up, they are the reason that people believe in conspiracy theories and ghosts and all kinds of crazy stuff. But did you hear about a paranormal investigator? He was on a tour, and he was given a tour with some people, and he was touring around. He's doing like one of these summer lecture series, and he's speaking to some people, and he happened to be showcasing the doll that inspired the movie Annabelle, the horror movie that it looks like a Raggedy Ann doll. And his name is Dan Rivera. He's a 54-year-old senior paranormal investigator for the New England Society of Psychic Research. So he's doing this tour. He's talking about Annabelle. All these people it suddenly clutches his chest, falls to the ground, and he dies in front of everybody, in front of the doll.
Okay, all right.
That's why people believe in ghosts.
Because they're thinking
because
that
54-year-old men who probably have not been eating good, right, and have some sort of heart disease, die doing their job, and
or just randomly that's how men die.
Yeah, but isn't that it's absolutely crazy? Yeah, he happened to be on this tour. He's doing this thing. It was like a series of speaking tours, and he has the doll with him, and he's been taking the doll to different places to do these lectures, right?
Okay.
And he was showcasing the infamous real Annabelle doll, the same Raggedy Ann style figure that inspired the movie The Conjuring, and then all the subsequent Annabelle movies that followed afterward. Emergency crews were called to the hotel. CPR was administered. He died on the scene, and no official cause of death is out there yet. There you go.
Well, yeah, it takes a while for the coroner to say, okay, this is a heart attack.
Yeah.
But so
that doll. but here, when you talk about it though, that it's got value. That just increased the value of that doll.
Oh yeah, well, I guess it goes to his inheritance, whoever is inheriting it.
Well, I don't think he owned the doll. I think he was just
presenting it.
I just think he had it on borrow.
Okay, who owns it? It's like some.
Let me look into that. They're saying, and this is from today.com, his death was nothing suspicious. The coroner's office and the state police were called to the scene Sunday night. He did go for an autopsy today, and it's still pending. Well, see, now this one's saying something different. The one that I read, and this is why you can't trust your news these days, especially with something that's got some heat to it or is sort of sexy. The one that I read this morning said that the Annabelle doll was in the room with him. This one from today.com is saying that the doll was in the same location but not in the room with him. See, that's not as cool. You need the doll in there with him, staring him down as he dies, right?
Well,
I'm not trying to be crass because somebody died, but I'm just saying.
Well, magic can, it can go through the different rooms.
No, it's got to be, if it's upstairs laying in the suitcase and then you fall and you die giving your presentation, I feel like that's a heart attack. But if the doll is in there and its piercing doll stare is sending you to a doll hell, that's good.
It's interesting how a child's toy became synonymous with some sort of creepiness or haunting, because they've got that weird doll down in Key West too.
Robert the doll.
And then there's a bunch of other famous spooky dolls around America that people claim to be haunted.
If we
or
were a
spooky.
morning radio station, we would make our intern list all of the famous spooky dolls across the nation, and then we do a 6-week bracket battle to see who is the best scary doll. That's what radio stations do for clicks.
Yeah.
But we're not a radio station, so we're not going to do that. I gotta vote. I gotta vote for Robert. He's our guy. He's Florida, right?
I wish that I had just a little bit of where I found these dolls to be creepy or somehow superstitious and I wouldn't touch that. Because I feel like those people have a better life, a more fun life. There's nothing that
I think you work too hard at pushing that stuff out of your mind. I've said this before. I said this a couple years ago. Years and years ago, you had that in there, and you would have the fun. You would lean into it, and you could slightly, not really, but you're not really going to believe it because you've always been the sort of a non-believer. But there was this, and then somewhere along the line, you became obsessed with forcing anything that's not logical out of your mind. And then now here we are, and I feel like you just lost how to practice it. I think it's in there.
No, well, I just can't believe something that I know isn't true, and that's the thing. Once I know it's not true,
but
then
a
I
lot
can't
of the
ever
things you
I
say
can't
are
believe
not
in
true. You get wrong. So how do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, facts. I'm just saying, supernatural.
Right.
There's just nothing. I don't believe any sort of ghosts or any sort of hauntings or any supernatural whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I
to
don't
the point
either.
But
I can lean in a little bit and be I don't have to turn it all off. It's almost like it's like playing along.
Yeah, well, that's faking it. I can act like
No, I'm not really faking it because I never. My stance is there is no supernatural.
Yeah.
But this guy dying and the Annabelle thing, it's like a wiggle. It's like it's a something. Is it? Is it? When push comes to shove, no. You put a gun to my head, I'm going to tell you 100% I do not believe in the paranormal and I do not believe in ghosts. It's not a real thing. I don't believe in God. And I'm not trying to be mean or to anybody who believes that. That's just how I feel, right?
Yeah.
But I can, I don't know. I can I don't have to be. Why do I have to be so staunch with it? Why can't I leave my mind open and?
I don't even care. I won't even say anything. It's not like hold on, stop the fun.
Yeah.
To me, there's no. I wish it was true. That
I agree with you.
I hope that a ghost kills me one day because right before it happens, I'll be like, oh, something else. Oh wow, I thought it was just everything was natural.
You hit the. I mean, you have a haunted doll. The chat room just reminded me, and Andrea actually said this to me last night when we were talking about this story. You have sort of a legendary Orlando haunted doll in your garage. How's the French witch doing?
Still there. But it doesn't move the needle. There's nothing creepy things don't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
I could be in a cemetery in the middle of the night in Casadega or whatever, and I'd just be standing there. I never once would ever be even nervous about. I'd be more nervous about maybe there's a random
homeless crazy person.
I would think maybe there's a crazy person that came here to worship the devil that I stumble upon that maybe I'll have some sort of scuffle with.
And you have to fight him.
That is, but even that is such a small possibility that I'm not even worried about it, and it's just I'm not even worried about things that are statistically
unlikely. But there are
unlikely.
things you do worry about, driving to host an event and thinking, or driving to a magic show, and this is a good example. This is the thing. So you won't worry about a ghost in a cemetery. Totally not going to happen. Completely unlikely that a ghost is ever going to spook you in a cemetery. Not going to happen. But you will worry about driving to a magic show thinking that the magician's going to get you on stage and pull a dove out of your pants and that you're going to ruin the trick if you don't know what to say. So you have to think up. So,
that statistically is more likely.
But it is, but it's also not. And if you were on the flip side of this argument, you'd say the same thing. You're like, that's not going to happen. You're going to Hard Rock, the likelihood of Penn and Teller pulling you up on stage, and you need to have a clever,
that big of a venue, but if it's a smaller, 30-person
still
room,
not going to happen.
Yeah, but if I'm one, if one out of 30, he asks for volunteers.
Not going to happen.
But they're I know the difference in math. One's a 0, one's 1 in 30.
Yeah, but it's still a waste of time. Is my point.
1 in 30, you start to, at least you go through your head.
At a magic show, there's not a 1 in 30 chance of you going up on stage. Out of, let's say, 100 and, 200 people.
Oh, there's 1 in 200.
No, but
that's way more likely than
also, it's not 1 in 200 because he may have a person that he definitely wants to do because that's part of the trick.
No, it's just like it does change, and things will, and I won't worry about it. It'll just enter my head like this could be a possibility.
That's worry and anxiety. Look at these other dolls there's a whole list of other dolls. And Robert the Doll, you hit the nail on the head. He's number 1. He's the OG of cursed dolls. He's in a museum. He's been blamed for tons of accidents and misfortune. Then there's an Aiku doll in Japan. That's the traditional one that we've all heard about that I believe was the inspiration for the... what's the hair ghost? The Japanese hair ghost that we see that comes out of the well?
The ring?
Yeah, I think that's a version of the Ikiku doll. A lot of these are foreign, but then you have like all the standard Midwest ones, like Juliet the Haunted Doll, Poopa the Doll, Harold the Doll, Emily the Doll.
Yeah,
there's a list. But Robert number 1. We get it's ours. Florida, we get it.
Again, I just it'd be a better life if you had some sort of superstition in you.
I don't know. I mean, you can make up your own.
At least there's something.
You can make. I mean, like you never make up your own. Like if I do this thing, or if I don't know. I'm trying to think.
My wife does it. She
just for fun, just to do it for fun.
She won't even say "goddamn" because she's just like, I just won't say it. Just in case. And I'm just like, I've learned to not say anything. I'm just like, okay, like I don't care, but I'm just like, God, I wish I even thought that.
Well, try it.
I can't. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but anything is practice, right? Like if you just start practicing it, just do it once a day. Just try to lean into it a little bit, and maybe you'll suck for the first 9 years you do it, but maybe on the 10th year you'll get it. It's like stand-up comedy, dance, or anything else, drumming. Music.
But it's like telling someone that is a Christian, why don't you try Mohammed, give it a try.
Well, I'm not saying,
and then there's like they're like no, they never do it.
I'm not necessarily saying believe something that is not true. I'm more saying like be more open-minded to allowing yourself to make believe something. Like lean into something that's not real and be a part of it. I'm not saying lie to yourself. That's different.
That's playing along, and I can do that, but there's no fun in it.
That's what I've been saying for years. You're excellent at playing along, but then you like to draw a line in the sand. You're like, I can't do that. I'm like, yeah, you can.
Well, yeah, I can play along, but like I say, inside, I'm just acting, playing along.
You don't get anything from the playing along?
Nothing.
It's an empty play along.
Well, yeah,
I don't believe that
because I'm just like it's like you're playing a character or something where you're an actor. So it's like there's no part of when you're doing that do you really think you're that person, right? So it's like no actor.
Maybe because like part of any actor.
John Krasinski doesn't.
I don't think he turns 100% of John Krasinski off though when he acts. I don't think he becomes another person. There's still John in there. That's the base.
You have a real, you're acting.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're like, oh, I'm really inside the office and I'm Jim and I'm in love with Pam. It's like you act like it, but it's like deep down inside, you're acting and this is not real. So that's me.
Yeah, but I think they blend it, and that's why they do such great performances. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because there's a human aspect to it. If you didn't believe the character that you were portraying, you wouldn't portray it well. You have to believe it.
Yeah.
Like that's Jim, I don't think that he goes in there, shuts off Jim, portrays a character, then turns Jim back on, and people are like, wow, that's great. There's a reason he's cast. It's because Jim is in there. It's a blend.
Yeah, no, I know. I just like there are people that actually think that the doll could be haunted and there's something to it.
There are real people that believe
and
that.
I can never do it.
Yeah, no.
There's no chance, so I could stand there and they're like, oh, look at this creepy doll. I'm like, okay. I'm not going to be like, oh, this. It's just a nothing.
Let's jump into a couple of emails here because we got a little bit of time. Let's try this one from our buddy Clay. Clay, you are the best emailer ever, and thank you. If anybody has an email for the show@tomanddan.com. Dan and Tom, what would you say is your ratio of being overdressed / underdressed to going to an event? My uncle showed Okay, I think he missed a word here. My uncle showed up with the Lebowski look, minus the robe, at his mother's 90th birthday party. Some other family members made some bickering remarks about it during the celebration. But at least he showed up after an 8 to 12 hour drive there. I prefer to overdress for events since, according to ZZ Top, every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. Clay. I'm usually underdressed now. I used to be overdressed all the time.
Yeah, that's weird to make that transition to go from overdressed to underdressed.
Yeah, and I'm getting sloppier by the minute. Have you seen my hair and beard? I mean, I'm literally...
No, I know, yeah. Turn homeless.
I'm turning homeless.
To the point where people are like, oh my God, what happened to you?
Let's talk about that. Yeah, I've been getting multiple... We didn't tell the story.
I'm surprised you're surprised by that. Like, don't you know that you grow out your beard and then you
don't look at when you look at yourself in the mirror, it's a weird thing. I think that the psychology of seeing yourself every single day, you lose sight of what you look like. It's like when people lose weight and you don't see them for a long, long time, and then you see them, you're like, what the? But if you see them every day, you may not even notice they lost weight or lose it.
But do you have?
My daughter says that.
But you know what? How people perceive? So it's like when Tom Hanks, when he's on that FedEx plane. Clean cut, and then he goes, on the island for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between clean cut and after 10 years on the island.
I'm on the island.
Is drastic.
Yeah.
Right? Because the last time they saw him, he was a company man, in a corporate meeting.
I've had a couple big ones. Like friends have seen me. Dice Man saw me, said, wow, what the hell's wrong with you? Our neighbor, we have a neighbor that is British, and he wears his shirts are too tight, and he'll never hear this, but I've said hi to him. He's down here in the corner. I've said hi to him no less than, I'll try to hit the number because I know you like factual, 17 times maybe since we've been here.
Yeah.
I've said hi, hey, how you doing, man? We go to get the mail at the same time, right? He saw me. I had on a blue, it said Honky Tonk Hell, Marcus King, the Marcus King band. It's a blue hat, looks like a mail hat. He thought I was the effing mailman. He said, I can get out of your way if you need to put the mail in. Do I look like a mailman? I guess I kind of look like with a blue mail hat on. I guess I kind of look like a mailman.
You don't look like you did, a year
2
years or a year ago.
Even a year ago.
And the last time he saw you, so you were wearing a disguise, essentially.
This is my disguise.
Like a full, long-ass gray beard and long hair. And then that's what people do when they're on the run.
I'm on the run.
Yeah, they put on disguise. But so of course they're surprised about what the hell happened to you.
This makes people think I'm going crazy, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
no, I think that.
All right. Okay, great.
Because why else would you do it? I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, there's no other, going back to the haunted doll, there's no other logical reason why you'd make yourself look like Castaway.
I know I said earlier, not even 5 minutes earlier, I said I don't believe in haunted dolls. I'm on the fence now. I don't know. Something changed in me while we were talking about it.
And then when I ask you why you're doing it, you're like, I don't know. That's a crazy response.
I don't know. Just for fun. I'm doing it for fun.
It's like, why is it fun? And then you're like, why is
it a challenge?
Why are all these people saying, what the hell happened to you? Like, because you're let yourself go.
Yeah, my wife, I don't think my wife likes it at all because I asked her, I was like, she's like, it's fine. And I'm like, that's what Tom says. Hold on a second. I was like, it's fine. That's what Tom says. Maisie likes it, though. And that's all that matters. If my daughter likes it, it's fine. Yeah, it's like, that's all that matters. This one is from our buddy Randy. We have time for this one right here. Randy says, what's up, T&D? On a recent ACT, you were discussing private investigators, and Ross mentioned that sometimes they're used as process servers. Is there a better job in the world for Ross than process server? Could you imagine the elite level confrontations and possibly explosions he'd have on a daily basis? Please, Ross, go make this happen. Also, in the same vein, would there be better People's Court style TV judge watching than Marshawn Lynch? He would be great. SFT, Sharton Randy. Thank you, Sharton Randy.
So people may immediately think I would not like to be a process server because it's awkward.
Doesn't have to be, I guess.
But here's what I do like about
served?
it. No. But the process server, they only have to, once they find the person and they confirm it's that person, all they have to do is like, you've been served. They turn around and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, you just have to confirm it's the right person.
Yeah. They, by confirming, usually like, hey, Jim, is that you? Jim Smith or whatever? And then they're like, yeah, you've been served. And then you can get the hell out.
The best
so
one.
It's
immediately. Here, let's try. Let's role play.
You don't have to do this awkward conversation.
Let's
with
role
them.
play. You ready? Yeah. Almost says what? There you are, sir.
And then the rest of it is just like detective work, right? Trying to track the person down.
I don't even think you have to do that. I think you're sent on the errand most of the time, right? Like I think most of the time they know where you're at. When I was served at my little house, our first studio, and he was already there.
Yeah,
like he was there. Like he knew my schedule. Like he knew I was going to be home at like 12:30 lunch, coming home from morning radio, right? Like he knew. He was sitting there pulled in.
That's the easy job.
Yeah, it was super
and
easy.
Most of them are easy, just like repoing a car, because they don't know it's coming. But when they know it's coming, that's when it becomes hard, and then you do have to use detective work to track it. Like if you know your car is going to be repoed, you keep it in your garage, like things that you can't, like a repo man can't come into your garage, and like so you start doing that. You start hiding, you start parking it in a different place at work. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with being served. If you know you're going to be served and you don't want to, you could evade the process server, and then that's where the detective work comes in, because unless they serve you, then you can't go to court because they have.
I think I take it too far. Like if they were like, I think that if I pulled up and I saw them pulling the car into the garage and shutting it, that I'd run and then like dive under the garage and it hits me, so it would go back up, and then I'm getting in a scuffle, and then they're killing me.
Illegal.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I think I would go too far because like it would be. I'm the type of person where if I think you're getting one over on me by using like, oh, I'm sorry, it's in the garage, I'd be like, I'll burn your house down now.
You take it
you
personally.
can't do that. Yeah, I would take it personally. You can't do that.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta take a break, buddy.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome back to a Corporate Time. Let's do some Weird Job Wednesday.
Yes, buddy, we're doing the standard.
Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday, let's say, brought to you by thepinballdudes.net.
Yeah.
If you're looking to buy or sell or rent your pinball machine, go and talk to Andrew.
Yes, or his lead assistant, Rose. She will. They'll hook you up. They'll buy, sell, trade. They can make any of your pinball dreams come true.
All right, on the line with us right now is Daryl. How you doing, Daryl?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Hey, thanks so much for emailing us a while back. We appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, what's your weird job, Daryl?
Well, it technically wasn't my weird job. It was my parents' weird job, and since they were my parents, I lived with them, and kind of a family weird job, I guess you could say. But from when I was 8 to about 13, for about a 5-year span, we lived in a nice little single-wide trailer right in the middle of a high school, and it's what they call the Vandal Watch program. And I don't know if you're familiar with schools, if you got kids that are mostly it's in junior highs and high schools. If you've ever seen what looks like a residential mobile home on a school property, there's people living in there, and they basically babysit the schools for the school board. And it's an actual kind of a job.
Hold on a second, because
I've never heard of this.
Me neither, and I know. Like, look, I went to DeLand High. You went to
Miami Killian Senior High.
And do you remember there being caretakers? This is no different than like a caretaker for like a ranch or a farm or like a sleepaway camp, right?
Well, they have this at storage units where they'll be
drunk.
There'll be someone that
old drunk.
They have like an apartment at a lot of storage units.
This is my dream job, by the way.
And you live there, and it's kind of like you oversee. You have someone on property. I didn't know they did this at schools. So
I didn't either.
Is this a nationwide thing, or is it only from a small town thing?
I'm not sure. I'm from Claremont. This was the Claremont High School. I don't know if it's a nationwide or a Florida thing. And for the work I do now, I actually go to a lot of schools sometimes, and I've only seen it in a couple other schools. It's not a very common thing. And like I say, it's mostly junior highs and high schools that I've ever seen it. And I can almost imagine nowadays with technology and cameras and all that they're kind of phasing it out. Plus, it's kind of weird.
What was the actual, I guess, program that you were a part of? What was it called?
It was the Vandal Watch program.
Okay.
And basically that's exactly what it was. We watched for any people, breaking into the school property or, vandalizing. Because this is like in the late 80s, early 90s, back in the heyday of America, kids were wild and they would do crazy stuff. And it was always, let's go break into the school and, spray paint stuff on the walls or whatnot. So
I like how
that was my parents' job to watch out for that.
All old men say their heyday was like X amount of years. It's like saying the heyday was in the 90s is funny because like that's what people said in the 70s and the 90s. Old men, this keeps going all the way back.
And pun intended, this was a 70s to 90s program.
My sons, when they're old men, will say that 2030 was the heyday. Everything's a heyday.
Why do you think they got rid of most of these Vandal Watch programs? There is a reason that I think Tom can get. What'd you say, sir? Sorry, Daryl.
I said pedophiles.
No,
security cameras.
No. The number one reason they didn't want the liability of people staying on the property.
Huh.
Well, I can see that because I ended up causing a lot of damage myself because I was a kid. I was around 10, whatever. I was a punk-ass little kid, and I created some of my own damage and got in trouble quite a bit. So I can understand that, which I was always surprised they would let a family live in that thing too,
The only way you'll still find this, it's only popular in the private arm of education now. So if you have like a private university, if you have like a private high school or something where it's considered a truly private school, sometimes they will still have a caretaker, at least according to Google and ChatGPT.
Because it's cheap enough. Same thing that, like I said, at the storage units, they have someone, they're like, hey, well, I'll let you live in here for free if you watch my place. And then you build an apartment. And then it's like, okay, like it's a cheap way to get a security guard. But I'm sure...
our buddy Greg, I think that's him in the chat room, he said, I did this back in 1999 to 2000 at Edgewater Junior High on Merritt Island. I lived on the property as a security thingy, and then if I heard anything or saw anything, I'd have to report it. There was a speaker in the bedroom connected to mics in the gym in the office in case I heard something. He would... be able to alert people.
Oh, and so they'd have actually some sort of system where there was audio.
Can't believe they had a system.
Gym.
Yeah, I thought you were just there to say you were there.
So, Daryl, it's a single wide trailer, and it's on the school's property. And would your dad have to actually go out and walk the premise?
Oh yeah, he was supposed to, and he did it almost every night. But yeah, and if you ever see them now, the last couple of ones that I've seen, they're up right on the corner of the property, just barely within property line. Ours was smack dab in the middle of the property. It was the weirdest thing.
I like it better in the middle.
Rounded.
I like it better in the middle.
It was weird.
And I also would like it better if your dad had to dress as a schoolboy to infiltrate while he was doing his walk.
I'll never forget one time we were in Claremont High School, and back then there was a rivalry between the Groveland High School, just like the old Dazed and Confused movie, high school rivalries. And the Groveland kids came over one time and started vandalizing the Claremont school, and so my dad had to go out there and try to run them off. And he just happened to be wearing a football jersey at the time, and those kids thought it was night dark. They thought that he was one of them, and they're trying to tell him to run and hide. And meanwhile, he had already called the police, and it was interesting, that's for sure.
So
that's a confusing story.
Is there any other duties besides every once in a while patrolling the school or just walking around the property to make sure everything's good? Do you have to log anything, or did they have hey, you can live here for free if you do these? This checklist.
You know what I'm a big fan of, and they have this at Publix bathrooms. Whenever somebody goes in there to check to make sure nobody smeared diarrhea on the walls, you have to sign with a magic marker on a dry erase board.
Yeah, okay.
I like that. It's like you're signing off that you did your checklist.
Yeah, there was no checklist or anything. He had the principal's number. I guess for lack of a better term, on speed dial. And if anything ever came up or if he found anything, he would call them right away and let them know. But it was basically just kind of make sure everything's cool. If there's a problem, call us. And, he would walk the grounds every night, check all the doors, and make sure nothing was unlocked. Keep an eye out, because we didn't have a speaker inside the trailer, but they did put a big alarm on the building right next to the trailer. So whenever an alarm was set off, it would trigger that alarm. But as far as any kind of daily logs or anything like that, no, there wasn't anything like that.
How was the
and my dad
trailer?
would've done it anyways.
How was the trailer inside? Do you remember what it looks like?
It was a classic, the single wide. I guess it would be a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Just basic, a basic single wide trailer, trash trailer. To be honest, it wasn't bad, but it sure wasn't nice.
It was like a bedroom on each end.
Exactly, bedroom on each end, the living room and the kitchen kind of right in the middle. And the master, I guess, bedroom had a bathroom in that, and the other one has had a bathroom next to the bedroom. But yeah, it was a typical single wide.
Gotcha.
And was the deal you got to live there for free as long as you did this, or was there you have to pay for the water, the utilities? How did that work?
We paid for the trailer, but all utilities. You didn't have to pay property taxes. You obviously didn't have to pay for the property, water, electric, all that, sewer. Everything else was covered. All we had to pay for was the actual trailer itself. Everything else was covered. But we didn't get cable, and that kind of sucked because, cable, Bright House ain't running cable all the way to the middle of the high school for it, so we didn't have that. We had the old school antenna and everything.
Oh, my God, rabbit ears. Rabbit ears back in the day was not good.
Did you?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Did you go to the school while you were doing this? Because that would be weird to be like, I lived there.
I never leave. I made my own prison.
Now, what happened was that was a high school. It was a Claremont high school. It was the Claremont Highlanders, which I always thought was cool instead of some lame old Eagles or Tigers or whatever. Our mascot was the Highlanders, which was pretty awesome. But what they did back then,
Scotch community out there, right? Yeah,
it was. It was. But they had built a new high school, and what it is right when I was about to go to high school, they had built a new one, and what they did is they retrofitted, the old Claremont and Groveland High School. They were turning those into the junior high. So right where our trailer was, as far as renovations, they were putting some mechanical AC equipment there, and they're like, well, you got to move your trailer. And my parents were poor. That's the whole reason why we lived there, because we were dirt poor, because my dad was evading taxes and hiding from the IRS.
There you go.
So in order to get the trailer out of there, you have to have the land to move it. You have to pay to move it. You have to pay to get utilities, and they didn't have any money for that. So my dad just burned it down.
Whoa, hold on. I never saw this coming. This is like an A24 movie.
Now, did he burn it down for the insurance, or he just couldn't take? Okay, the insurance.
He burned it down because we had no other options. Like I said, we didn't have the money to buy land to move it to. And plus, I don't know if you're familiar with mobile homes. Once it's been sitting somewhere for so many years, moving it's just going to destroy it anyways.
Yeah,
that's true. So they get flimsy. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets flimsy. It's bad. So in order to keep us from just having to walk away, and no matter what, we had to get rid of the trailer. So it was around the end of November, beginning of December. He just went and bought a real Christmas tree, and he let that thing sit outside in the sun for about 2 weeks, and then he put it in there. And one day he was just walking by and just took the lighter out and just sparked it, and the trailer burned down in 7 minutes.
So
and you had moved it, obviously, because I don't want everyone to be confused like me. You weren't burning it in the middle of the school.
Yeah,
No, we burned it right there in the middle of the school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's in the field, and nothing
okay.
hurt anything.
Did they know you were going to burn it, or did you just burn it and then step outside and act surprised?
They acted surprised. He faked it real good. He was pushing my grandmother, because I was, I think I was 13 at the time. I just turned 13. I was playing outside. I come running around one of the buildings. And I saw
oh my God! All your toys are inside. He's a monster.
Oh yeah, it was December 13th, and so my birthday was December 7th. I had just got a brand new Sega Genesis, played it for a week, and lost that.
Had to leave it inside because if you take it,
he burned it down right before Christmas.
You have to. If you take it out, the cops will know. They're like, "Why'd you take all your stuff outside and put it in your Ford Explorer?"
Well, he did. He did leave all the Christmas gifts. They were still in the trunk of the car, just coincidentally.
Smart.
But yeah, and I mean, I'm not even making this up. He straight up burned it down with the Christmas tree, and he didn't even move it. The closest building, the one building was maybe about 35 feet from our trailer, and the other building was probably no more than 20 feet from from where our trailer was.
That's a
And so it was
dangerous
close,
game he was playing. He could have burned the school down,
Oh,
but he
yeah.
had to do it. You have to do whatever you have to do, Tom, for your family. You know that.
Yeah, but this
I'll do anything for my family.
sounds crazy.
I like this. That was a great ending.
But that's exactly what he did, and that's how my mom still lives in the house. I ended up finding out he wasn't even my real dad, so he's out of the picture now.
Well, that's a real
And,
twist. So a stranger burned your house down.
yeah, that's a whole other weird story there about how I found out he's not even my dad. But yeah, it was definitely a weird living arrangement because for a while there, my grandmother couldn't live on her own, so they brought her in too and gave her my room, and then I had to sleep on the couch while she was sleeping in my room. And
You
then
should do that with
eventually
your
they got
sons. That'll make them tough. You got to move a fake grandma in and make them sleep on the couch.
So, Daryl, this made you a tough
as hell.
person, right?
It made me tough as hell, but with a buttload of mental issues, too, I'm pretty sure. Because whenever I tell people at work about my childhood, they're like, oh, well, that's what's wrong with you. And it's kind of,
I forget about all the trauma that all this comes with and all the negative effects of the trauma.
Yeah.
I only see the good of, like, this guy's tough. And it's like, but he likes this stomping balls.
What Tom and I see is, like, this guy's tough with great story.
He can only get off by setting things on fire. Like he's been divorced
it's like the
10
movie
times.
Crash.
Yeah. This guy's crazy.
I did get in trouble for playing with fire with one of my friends underneath one of the portables at the school when I was a kid, because we'd start little fires underneath the port. We'd pull the insulation out from underneath it and put it in a little Folgers coffee can and try to set it on fire. And I got some deep crap for that. And then
that's what my dad did with the Christmas tree. Oops, shouldn't have said that.
Daryl, I like it when the dad in this scenario, your dad, he's running.
Let's give him a name. What was your fake dad's first name, sir?
Well, I'll give you. His name was Claude, but he had also the old school. He had an old guy name. His name was also Spurgeon. So
Sturgeon.
Spurgeon with the SP, like the fish, but with a P.
Spurgeon. I've never even heard of that.
My name's Claude, but you can call me Spurgeon, and if you don't, I'll burn you down. Not your dad. Hey, kid, I'm not your dad. I'm Claude, but you can call me Spurgeon, and I'm going to burn your Christmas down.
He and my grandmother, my fake grandmother, her name was Gertrude, but she wanted me to call her Gaggy.
Gaggy. That's what Grandpa called her, I bet.
So back to Spurgeon.
Sorry, don't beat me up.
So you're Spurgeon. You're running from the IRS. You've made some bad decisions. You're living on the school property for free. You can't pay for that either. And then you're like, one day, seemingly on a whim, you burn your entire house down.
Ruined your career too.
The wife somehow still follows Spurgeon and is like, you know what?
He's a good man.
He's
a good man, that Spurgeon. I'll let him Spurgeon in my mouth and I won't Gaggy.
Which I'm always like, how is this possible? Like, I start doing wacky things, my wife is out of here. Like, she can't put up with anything.
You can't even have a sixth White Claw or it's going to be bad.
She knew about all the IRS stuff and everything, and everything, but that's why they never technically got married, because she didn't want to put anything, his name on anything. So it was all in her name, and he never told her about burning it down till years later. And so he kind of like kept that. But it was
super
funny
genius.
because
he
kind of in a way. I mean, it worked. He got away with it.
He did it.
He used the money from the insurance as a down payment on the house that my mom still lives in today. So. I mean, he got away with it, but
great story.
I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that.
That's crime is easy because most people aren't criminals, so our whole system and everything is set up for most people to do good. So when you were dishonest and you realize you're like, okay, my house is insured, I could burn it down. They're probably not going to do that. Like a Christmas tree, that happens all the time. It's like, and
that fire marshal was in that house for maybe 10 minutes. He walked in, looked at it, said, "Oh yeah, Christmas tree." Not that. There it is, right there. Open and shut case. He signed
That's
off.
what
and
I would do
walked
too.
out.
Because everybody's lazy. That's what they've seen a million times. They're not looking for the criminal.
Textbook Christmas tree. On to the next one.
That's why
Yep, that's it.
the cops get so much flack for assuming it is what it always is.
Yeah.
And when we look at these like murder documentaries and these all these like mysteries,
But what they failed to realize.
yeah, we're always we're like, how could the cops not know? We're like, you as a viewer have only seen murder documentaries, so that's your normal. So it's always suspicious. The cops are used to the day to day. It's always not suspicious. You know, it's always it's always the husband that kills the wife. It's always
It's always a dead homeless person behind the 7-Eleven.
the fire is always an accident. It's never arson. Arson is the anomaly. But we're all sitting back and we're seeing all these documentaries on arson and murder, and we're like, oh, how do the cops not know? Well, they don't deal with all this anomaly all the time. They deal with the standard.
Right.
That's why it's easy to get away with crime.
Oh yeah,
You know.
that was easy. That's for sure.
So how much was your dad getting money-wise? I mean, was it just room and board, or like did we get a number, like a number on what
As far
He
as
had to buy the trailer.
Yeah, they had to buy the trailer and then the free utilities and, like I say, no property tax or anything like that. So,
But he got
he didn't get paid.
You got the insurance money on the trailer, so he didn't.
yeah.
All
See,
free and clear.
And he didn't have to stay locked to that job. So if he wanted to take odd jobs during the day, he could and just work at night.
No, he actually had a job because he was
That's
trying.
what I
He was
thought.
still hiding. He was dodging the IRS, so he was working under the table, like doing painting houses or some side work because he was a pipe fitter, and he would do like under the work table because he's still trying to dodge the IRS.
Right.
So, and during school hours, there isn't that much of a need for the, babysitting the school because, you got staff and all that there. So it was more of a night and a weekend type deal.
And he's not maintenance. He's just caretaker at night. Yeah, that makes sense,
Exactly,
man.
yeah.
That's cool. Actually, that's like a pretty clever way of making a nut for a house that you're eventually going to buy down the road.
A pipe fitter seems like an easy job, right? Because they're standard
It is
sizes.
not. That's what I do now. That's what I do now. And
Oh, man. Tom insults right out of the... I love insult right
Well,
out of the
how's
box.
this? How you explain to me why it's hard? It's like they're standard pipes. Like I do my irrigation.
The only
playing radio all day there, Tom.
The only way that you could get a faster insult would be if we called this guy and he said hello, and I said, just so you know, people that use the phone are stupid.
Well, explain to me why it's hard.
Well, because all right, so I mean, there's a lot of welding with it, So if you're on the welding side of things, I mean, first of all, it's Florida. It's already 100 degrees outside, and you got to wear a leather jacket and a hood.
I'm the best welder on the show. We did a show, and I was the best welder.
Sir, that's strike one. That has nothing to do with the job. I'm talking about the
that
job
has
itself.
Everything to do with Daniel. Go ahead and Google pipe fitter and see what the number one task they end up doing on there is. It's goddamn welding, Tom. So you don't know what you're talking about.
All right, well then tell me you're a welder because I'm not going to say that's easy because I've seen welding. It seems it's hard.
It's
we
hard.
went out.
Yeah, we did it.
But when you say you're a pipe fitter, I think you're doing a disservice to your job because we're like, wait a minute, there's only like 5 different sizes of pipes in it.
That's not true. I'm not vouching for 5 pipes.
I know
I
irrigation.
cannot vouch on 5 pipes.
Have you been to PVC?
Well, you're saying
before?
irrigation.
No.
Pipe fitter is not irrigation.
Well, I think they make them standard, all the iron
Do
pipes.
you weld PVC pipe?
No.
Okay.
But did they make them all different sizes? I feel like back in the 20s are like, let's just standardize
I mean,
this.
aren't some pipes the size of a human?
Yeah. There's 48-inch pipe. There's a big ass pipe, man. I mean, pipe fitting's all your big stuff. Plumbers deal with your residential. They make doo-doo runs downhill. They get the water to your sink.
You're more of a doo-doo man. This guy's doing real work. You're doing small pipes
I'll
are
give you
doo-doo
an
pipes.
example.
This guy's doing big pipes.
You're doing yourself
I
a
will tell
disservice by saying your job is a pipe fitter because immediately I'm like, well, that's easy.
All right.
But why do you assume it's easy? Just because it's a pipe and you have to
name.
fit it? Because you're fitting
I'll
pipes
give you-
together?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, Tom.
Like
Right now, I'm
doctor. Does that
sitting in
sound
my
like an easy
truck.
job?
No.
Like I don't understand the rationale of pipe fitter makes it sound like an easy job.
I'm doing this interview with you because I just came out of a walkthrough. I'm in downtown Orlando, right there at the Morgan & Morgan building. We got to change out a chiller in the basement, a 15,000-pound chiller. We got to get into a basement with a bunch of 10-inch steel pipe and everything.
I
So
banged
gotta
a
figure out how to get
14,000-pound
this
girl at chillers.
elevator. It's actually right across from Ember right over there.
There
I
you
remember
go.
when we had the one.
Oh, yeah.
meet-
Ember.
The one meet up. Remember? Oh, yeah.
We got kicked out of Ember because one of our listeners, I think it was Nick, he had a blueberry vape juice and he's plumed up the room, and it stunk real bad.
All right, Daryl.
So I mean, yeah. So that's getting that big ass chiller in and out. You know, that's a lot of stuff you got to lay out. It's thinking, planning. It's not just gluing some PVC.
You know this show. He doesn't believe you.
No, I believe it. I'm just saying what the actual name of your job does a disservice to how hard it sounds to call yourself a welder.
There you go.
All right, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, just say welder because I'm more I respect
welder,
man.
See, but here, there's different roles in the pipe fitting trade. Like we have welders, and that's what they do. They just weld the pipe. And you have the actual fitter will fit the pipe up for them. They weld it, and then you have people that run the job that are the foremen, so they got to lay it out. They got to figure out where the chiller's going, where the pipe's coming from. I mean,
I don't know. Sounds easy to me now, too.
All right, Daryl.
Hey, thank you for the time today, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem, guys. I appreciate it.
And in more than that, appreciate you listening, okay?
All right, thank you. Y'all be good.
See you, man.
See you, Daryl.
Nice, man.
That's weird. That's the first time I've ever heard that they used to allow people to bring a trailer on school property just to be like, watch over the property at night or
like the
off school hour,
caretaker.
caretaker. Even though you're not really you're not taking care of anything. You're just kind of there so that if anything happens, you can call the police or something.
Yeah,
you're
a reaction is all you are.
It makes,
which could be done with probably cameras easier, and then a person off site could probably get to it just as fast.
Yeah. Well, nowadays,
Yeah.
but back in the 80s, it was like you had to put a human there.
It's a very appealing job to me. If we're just talking, because I like
it's
lately.
a nothing.
Lately, since we've been doing the weird job, it doesn't have to be a nothing though. I'm just talking about the isolation of it is what is appealing to me.
Yeah.
Like the idea of being like in my own little spot. Like I tell you, you hit on one earlier that I almost want to talk to somebody that's done this, or maybe we have. But I definitely want this job. I want to live in the apartment above a storage complex.
Or
like I'll have my own little on-property place, and it'll look nice, and I'll just have like a nice TV with video games in there, and like a nice couch, nice bed, small. Just cook my little meals and just stay alone. I just stay up there. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Just in my little spot. What do I got to do? I got to go open up a gate for some people, let some people in.
You have no contact with anybody, really? Yeah. It's like being a dead but alive.
Yeah, it's dead alive. I want to be dead alive.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.